everyone. Thank you for joining us today at the panel discussion on application security testing. And as you mentioned, that application security testing is one of the very important topics. And stay tuned. We have some really amazing guests with us as the panelists. And I'm going to request all the panelists to introduce themselves one by one. Before that, let me introduce myself. My day's job is with one of the multinational companies. Apart from that, in my free time, I spend on pro bono work where I am one of the global board of directors for OWASP, as well as I run some diversity initiatives with InfoSec Girls, InfoSec Kids, and some other initiatives. Now, I'll head on to our panelists, where I'll ask them to share a few words about themselves so that audience can get to know about them. I will start off with Scott. Scott, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Vandana. I'm Scott Gerlach, CSO and co-founder at StackHawk, which is a developer-focused dynamic application security tool. I'm going to keep mine a little short because I know we're kind of tight on time and I want to get to this really great content.
Thank you. Sam, over to you.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm an independent application security consultant by day. And in my spare time, Vandana, just like you, I do pro bono work and do volunteering for OWASP. I'm OWASP London chapter leader, and I also lead a couple of OWASP projects as well. That's it for me.
Thank you. Thank you. Over to you, Liran.
Hey, everyone. My name is Liran. I'm a developer advocate at Snyk, where we help developers build open source in a secure way. That's it.
Over to you, Bar.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bar. I'm a security researcher, hacker, developer, and software architect. I'm the CTO and co-founder of NeuraLegion. We're doing zero false positive application security testing for developers. Great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. And we are glad to have you here. We have you all here with us. Now I will straight head to the panel discussion and start, we will start the discussion around application security testing. So I have been hearing that DevOps with security or what we call it as DevSecOps, everyone has their own way of defining it or have their own definition. So I would want to know from all of you, each one of you, that what it means to you, what DevSecOps means to you. So here, this time, I will start off with Bar. So we'll go in a reverse order.
All right. So first of all, I think it's an interesting topic to discuss. DevOps in general is about connecting two communities together. It's about connecting the people of the ops and the people of the development. Those used to be kind of rivals before, and I think it's very important and a very good idea to try and create some kind of a bridge between those two sections. DevSecOps, more specifically, is about introducing security into the conversation. It's about trying to see how those security concept tools and other techniques can help enable and not interrupt developers and ops personnel with what they do.
Yeah, that's great. Liran, over to you.
Yeah, I think DevOps DevOps has been there for us to, the way I see it is it's laying the infrastructure to allow us to kind of scale what ops means. And that's how I see it really helping, and coming into life with DevSecOps. And for me, it means it's not just about automation, right? It's about putting the infrastructure, putting everything, the automation that is needed for developers to then automate security inside it. So it's not about using a specific tool, one or the other, or in a specific stage. It's about building that pipeline, that infrastructure, that everything that then goes together and flows in a very seamless way. That's the way I see DevSecOps.
Yeah, totally true. Over to you, Sam.
Yeah, for me, I think DevSecOps, first of all, is a philosophy. it's a culture. It's a culture of introducing security as code to everything, making sure that people treat security as their responsibility, as their job. So it's not just about tools, it's not just about automation, it's about state of mind, security first. That's what DevSecOps should be, really. It's an overarching state of mind for all of us.
Yeah, true. Over to you, Scott.
Yeah, I'm about to get myself in trouble here. I feel like I need a how it started and how it's going meme for this. Because I think what everybody said is like the vision of DevSecOps, right? It's security is part of the develop and operate applications cycle. And we have to keep putting security into there so that people keep talking about it. But I think the way that it started was dev and ops teams were leaving security behind, and security teams were like, hey, we want to play in this awesome little circle tool. We'll just jam our thing right in the middle. We're in the middle. And then they kind of get left behind because they're not operating in that same cycle that dev and operations or DevOps teams are. But I think we're getting to a point where security teams are starting to see, I need to be more agile, more flexible, more cyclic like the DevOps team is. So I think we're, again, how it started, how it's going kind of meme.
Yeah, absolutely. You have different perspective, but I think we all are talking the same language, wherein we need to start shifting left. We need to understand when we are talking about DevOps, we're not leaving security behind, and it's everyone's responsibility, not mine, not developers, but all of ours responsibility. Even when we talk about culture has to go upside down, and it has to inculcate from the developers till the leadership as well. So it's both ways. If leadership doesn't give you an approval to build the DevOps pipeline or DevSecOps pipeline, you cannot do anything. Similarly, if we don't have the right kind of culture and we don't have the teams speaking with each other, we will never be able to build the kind of mindset or a kind of habitat that we want for DevOps or DevSecOps. Now, when we are talking about DevSecOps and we're talking about that security testing is becoming an integral part of DevOps pipeline. So in your perspective, how much automation is important and how much relevant it is? Because everyone says that we have culture, we have tooling, we have whatnot around DevOps, and now we're talking about culture as well. So how much automation has a role to play in that? And here, I think we can start off with Liran.
Yeah, sure. So when we talk about automation and like the security importance of that in the pipeline, we need to understand, I think, that when we say DevOps pipeline, this is basically a synonym word with being able to deliver something, right? That's basically, if you're unable to deliver something, if the pipeline is stuck, you are basically now, not delivering, not putting out there something that you need for customers. By the way, that could be a fix, a security fix, or a fix for regression. So that's a very important aspect. And automating security into that means that you're now basically giving the organization, the business, a company, a way to basically be able to ship something fast in a secure manner. So that's kind of obvious, but what I think is we're missing here is that a lot of the times when DevOps, that pipeline is something that is, for many times, I think, also from experience from being a developer before, this has been a lot of magic that happens behind the scenes, right? Like people just merge something, there's a pull request, merge, majestically, it goes into production, right? It's there. It went through so many automations and regression tests and visual testing and security testing and performance testing, so many things. So having security automated into that is basically giving you more guardrails and ability to deliver fast in a secure manner. And you have to do it throughout the app lifecycle, right? You have to do something when you think about applications today. This is more of like a cloud native application security world, because it's not just your dependencies, it's your container, and then it's your Kubernetes YAML, a lot of things that basically are present when you actually click that merge button and something magically goes into production. And then that security automation being basically all the way, that is what I think is going to be life-changing in terms of how you push security into the DevOps lifecycle.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Now, I want to take Bar's perspective as well on this side, because he's working around tooling, he's working around product security. So I want to take Bar's perspective on like how automation is helping his teams and the work that he's doing around product security.
So I think the most obvious is that automation is key, right? We can't expect anything to work in this DevOps, DevSecOps paradigm without having automation. I think that's something that a lot of companies miss, is that developers, even though we really want, like our dream is that each developer will be this kind of superhero for security, knows everything about security, can run his tooling, can do manual testing, can verify everything. And that's not how it's going to work. And I think that even in the best way, we shouldn't even expect that. Developers are here to create amazing things. They're here to build. And I think that using automation and giving developers the right tools through this automation, not to make them security expert, but to allow them to see those security concepts, those bugs, because security in the end, security is just bugs. So giving them what they know, which is bugs, but in the security kind of way, that's where we really aim. And that's where security and GitHub and all of those amazing new integrations are happening. And it's really, I think that's the main points.
Yeah, true. And I just realized that there's something that I want to ask all the panelists. But before that, I would ask Scott or Sam if they want to add something to it based on their experience with DevSecOps.
Yeah, I think one important thing about automation is, first of all, it needs to be there, right? Because obviously, if you don't automate security tools into your pipelines, you don't really get that nirvana of DevSecOps. I think what's important, and I think what's already been mentioned, is that developers need to actually play with security tools that they integrate in pipeline. They need to understand them, because this is where automation is important. Because previously, when we had manual process, developers would write a piece of code, and they would throw it over the fence to security team. Security team will do their scanning, and they will produce a result with lots of vulnerabilities, like long list, or your code is buggy, lots of security flaws, and they will throw it back over the fence to developers. And developers say, well, what are we going to do with this, right? And I think this is the important bit, is just to make sure that the developers and security teams, they're actually collaborating together on the automation, and they're building that automation together.
True. Scott.
Yeah, everybody said amazing stuff. I just want to build on a little bit. Automation is obviously super key, but a thing that Liran said was really important, and that's don't make black boxy stuff happen in CI/CD. If your developer can't, outside of CI/CD, understand or run the process or has control over what's happening with security tooling or QA tooling or whatever that might be, and they can't reproduce what's about to happen in CI/CD, that's when you start introducing that, how can I work my way around this thing? Because it keeps blocking me and I don't understand what it's doing. So making sure that those kinds of things are available outside of CI/CD and accessible and all that good stuff, I think just as important as automation.
That Apache Struts library is it's a small vulnerability I can probably deploy without it.
Yeah, I do remember that. And actually, you've mentioned the right way, that developers are trying to find ways to escape security, because they are the superheroes of development, and we are trying to make them superheroes of security. But what instead we could do is we can make them security champions, and then we can take help from them. Now, Scott, a question for you around the same thing. Like, developers are working rigorously making sure that the applications which are developed as the way that they have envisioned or the clients have envisioned. So when it comes to security testing, it's sometimes, we all know that it becomes an overhead or something which is overburden for the developers, and we all have been developers, so we can understand that pressure. So are there any developer focused tooling or which is available, or there's something that security team can help developers further, which can be useful, which can make the CI/CD pipeline faster or easier for the developers, so that they don't feel that there's something that that is putting pressure on them, but they feel that yes, it's part of my daily job, and it's totally cool to do it.